Hello, Internet. Oh, yeah. You can tell I'm feeling a little under the weather with that hello. Hello, Internet. magicman here from MMOs.com, bringing you another episode of the free-to-play cast. This time it's the 24-hour all-live stream. We'll be going until 4 in the morning. No, we won't. No, we won't. We'll see for about 50 minutes, and then we'll call it a week and see you next week on the free-to-play cast. But we've got lots of exciting stuff here to kick off 2017. We're going to look at some of our predictions that have already gone horribly awry. Some of our predictions heading into 2017 as far as what we might see on the horizon and maybe some anticipated titles. And yeah, so let's chat with the hosts here on the line. Mr. Jason Winter, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. 2016 is over. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for deaths in 2017. Nobody really notable yet, so maybe we're through all of that.
I am sure everybody on the list is so glad you called them not notable.
Come on. We got Tony Atkinson, British economist. I mean, really, that guy? Ezio Pascuti, Italian footballer, born 1937. He's not a current guy, but yeah, come on.
You shaved the beard.
Yeah, well, you know, it's a new year, new look.
There you go. Also on the line, still doesn't have a beard, Zach Sharps from Free to Play Weekly. What's up, Big Daddy?
Nothing much. It's 2017 and my Samsung phone still hasn't blown up, so that's good, right?
That is, mine has not either. I still like the Christmas tree in the background. Very cool.
Yep, it will probably be here till February. So. Just being honest.
Very quick to decorate here. Well, let's get started with the news. All right, we done fucked up already. So this is a late addition to the show notes because we got the presser stuff. I guess really late last night, really early this morning as High Res was kicking off their weekend expo, HRX or HXR. I never remember the acronym for it. But yeah, so predictions sure to go wrong. I was wrong. I speculated that I was kind of right, but mainly wrong. I'll take a wrong on this one. That their new unannounced project that they were hiring some people for, I suggested mobile was probably where it's going to go. And while technically this is mobile, it's not truly designed to be just mobile only. So I'm wrong. Jason, Zach, we were all really wrong on this one. What was the big reveal, Jason?
The big reveal was Smite Rivals. It's a kind of mobile-ish, kind of like really almost like a mini MOBA. Yeah, it's a really simplified version. It's got a card game aspect to it, and you send your guys down 3 lanes. Your opponent does the same, and you just try to kill each other and get to the other guy's base before they do.
And I mean, to be honest, my own personal opinion, and then Zach, you've done some research about what the interwebs are feeling here. But my own personal opinion was, oh, crap. It was, this is now the 3rd Smite title, right? We've got Smite and then Smite Tactics, which is also announced was going to be going into closed beta very soon here, and Founders Pack information is up. Check out MMObomb.com as soon as those articles are posted, because the site's having some issues today. We're working on it. And now we have this one, another Smite-based game, Smite Rivals, using cards, using a kind of MOBA-inspired lanes, and I was just really underwhelmed by it. And the first thing that I kind of thought, Zach, was Smite's really in danger, to me, of getting a very shovelware perception at this point. It just seems like the last 6 months have been bang, bang, bang of getting on various bandwagons. And with 3 consecutive Smite titles, while those people that love Smite, this may be great for them, neither one, Smite Tactics or Smite Rivals, appeals to me in really any meaningful way.
Yeah, I mean, when you really look at it, it reminds me so much of what Jagex did with RuneScape recently, with RuneScape, Chronicle RuneScape Legends and RuneScape Idle Adventures, and both of those ended up flopping. Idle Adventures, not so much, but Chronicle's pretty dead at this point. And with Smite, sure, Smite is pretty large, but arguments can be made that RuneScape is larger to a certain degree. It's definitely more well-known, and so you have a game that's basically going to be cut off from the segment of that fan base because they know about Smite, and it's based off Smite stuff in regards to tactics. And then you have Rivals, which is going to be another sub-segment of that fan base. And you start to look at it and you're like, that's a really small amount of people you're really going for, because unless they plan that this will expand Smite in general, it's really one of those things. It's like, why are you even doing this? They should have just had it a brand new IP, went off of it like that. That way it doesn't really sort of try and make, like what you said, Smite turn into somewhat of a shovelware IP, especially since it's somewhat of a young IP in a sense. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it's still somewhat young when you look at the other IPs that are out there.
Yeah, and the similarities are already out there, Jason. In like every other comment, Clash Royale,
Clash Royale,
Clash Royale,
yeah.
Clash Royale, over and over and over again. Here's my favorite YouTube comment: imitation is the strongest flattery. And it's not being very well received. It looks like about a 50-50 split right now. Granted, the view count is still small because the links are not public. They're just made available for press so that you can watch them on sites. But even then, it's already at a 50-50, 45-44 like dislike split, and I just can't say it enough. It was like, Paladins, okay, yeah, I get the whole it was in development before and all this stuff, but you just can't escape the Overwatch similarities in some people's mind. Smite Tactics seems like a very weird kind of quick cash in, almost in the vein of a Duelist or something that's already out there, or capitalizing on that card game, board game type feel. And now this capitalizing on very popular mobile apps. I don't like it, particularly because Smite is so damn successful. Look at their payouts for their tournament here. I mean, they're hundreds of thousands of dollars just in appearance fees. Just in appearance fees for some of these teams to be there. I don't like seeing Hi-Rez do this close back to back to back to back, Jason.
They definitely they know what their bread and butter is, and it's Smite, and it's Smite. And, yo, dog, I heard you like Smite, so we got some more Smite in your Smite. If they ever produce another game, if we ever make predictions on that, I'm going to say it's going to be something related to Smite.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with Zach, though, on the notion he said that they're probably trying this as something to introduce Smite to a larger audience. Like you said, it's got that mobile feel to it, and we all know mobile is huge. Mobile dwarfs anything that we cover in general. It dwarfs MMORPGs. It dwarfs MOBAs. Mobile stuff is ginormous. So they want to get into that. Everybody wants to get into that. Turbine got rid of all its MMOs so it could focus on mobile. So that's what they're trying to get into here, probably. Trying to get a bigger presence in that sort of thing. And hope that they can get it on there with the Clash Royales and that sort of thing. And get that near the top of the app, top-selling app list or whatever. And get people to notice this, and then hopefully steer them over to their big money makers and stuff, games like Smite or so on. Or maybe they hope this will go on to be a big money maker on its own and be up there with the Clash Royales and whatever. So that's probably their strategy. But to the core fans, the core people who've been with Smite, for years, it does seem like they're just dragging the whole thing out and spreading it really thin. And I do sort of think now that if they do ever do a new game, it's going to be Smite this, Smite that, and it's just going to feel like the original Smite is just kind of this almost this add-on. Like, oh yeah, remember when Smite was a MOBA? Oh yeah, now it's like it's an RPG, and it's a Smite survival game where you have to go and chop trees and avoid the evil gods or whatever. That's how it feels like it's going to go, or at least how I could see it being in like 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, and on the other side, Smite Tactics, closed beta available now if you buy a Founders Pack. Normally $20, they're running it on a sale right now for $15 for the Founders Pack. So I would anticipate that we'll have a first look coming soon as we can get access to that one. But generally, I don't think people were all that excited about that title either, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, when it really comes down to it, if they release these a lot more spread apart in terms of reveals, I would be a little bit more okay with it, but it seems so rapid fire, just like with what happened with Jagex, and the result of what happened with Jagex and those two games branched off of the RuneScape universe was really bad. And I see this happening with both these titles too, because even though Smite's more newer, and you can argue that the RuneScape brand could also damage some other residual games because of the fact that everyone thinks RuneScape's a relic by now. Even though a lot of people still play it, it just has that sort of appearance. You could still be like, okay, well, you're still going to split the market here, no matter any way you look at it, between these two games, because some people are going to play one, some people are going to play the other. They might not test out one because the other's coming out and vice versa. They really should have just released these way further apart, like 1 or 2 years difference, because that way you can market one really heavily, try and get people into it, and then once that one starts fading away, you can release the other, do the same routine, and then start on another game. But it just seems so bursty, and I don't understand why they're doing it this way.
Yeah. Other 2017 predictions here. Great. I can't open the damn article because the site's being a foobar right now, and our owner is looking at it. So what were some of the predictions you wrote in the article that we talked about behind the scenes? Because I don't remember them off the top of my head.
Fortunately, I pulled up the article. I probably should have pasted it into our docs document. But yeah, my first thing I did, of course, is I looked over what other people had said in the comments of last year's article, and yeah, they were not much better than I was. So, but some of the predictions I gave were, the easy one was the big two sub games, which are WoW and Final Fantasy 14. They're not going to go free to play or buy to play or anything like that. So there's not going to be any subscription removal or anything on those. I think those are fine. I think we're probably not going to see any big MMO with a sub, go away like that. Despite the recent news, I think Lotro and DDO will be safe for at least another year. I actually feel maybe into 2018 that might be a little different once the new shine is worn off, once Lotro at least gets through its basic stuff of going through Mordor and whatever, then we'll see how it goes. But I think
that's
that'll be good for the whole year.
Zach?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Safe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said High Res would be a battle royale type game, but I'd be requiring them probably to not be in the Smite universe, so screw that.
All right.
Because it can't be not a Smite game. Although a Smite battle royale game where you plays the different gods, that could be interesting. That'll be the next game.
Don't give them ideas, Jason.
Oh my god.
Daybreak, I said was going to do a hero shooter type game.
You like some melee, so here's some Smite in your melee.
There you go. Daybreak for a hero shooter. I said Turtle Rock, kind of a dungeon grinder, sort of like Warframe. That was my prediction there. We've talked about those before, so
which I think they would do really well with.
Yeah,
I think they would pull off nicely.
And I gave ideas for the order of the sales that would be for the next 4 quarters for NCSoft games, because we always get the sales reports for those. Kind of have the big two, of course, Lineage and Blade and Soul. Those are going to be 1 and 2, and WildStar's going to be last. Kind of know that. But then I put with Lineage 2, Aeon, and Guild Wars 2 in that order. Because I think Guild Wars 2 is still going to struggle this year.
Yeah, I mean, and I've saw speculation that really the only thing that could help them is an expansion pack, but they're not in any way, shape, or form ready for an expansion pack.
Well, I mean, they've been working on it for a while, but the point is that because the last one was so poorly received, I don't even think that would do all that well. So, of course, maybe Aeon 2 will be in that.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so now there's apparently, rumors and speculation, Project A2 being worked on, and NCSoft likes to use Project M and single letters for all of their projects, but this is the first time a number's been in there, and they have Ion with an A, so A2, we'll have to see. More to come on that. It's just rumors and speculation at the moment.
Sure. And then I said Perfect World is going to gobble up at least one more prominent game, because they got Gigantic last year. Of course, previous years they got all the Star Trek Online and Champions Online and all that stuff, so I think they're going to grab at least one more decent-sized game that someone's going to get tired of.
Let me float this by you guys on that one. I agree. I think Perfect World's going to continue to snap up some licenses and some IPs this year. What do you think about EVE Online? I mean, CCP is kind of looking right now in a general direction of selling the company itself. They're in a little bit of a financial pickle. And so they're to remain solvent, they're looking at a number of options, including merging or being bought out by other companies. And there's even been speculation that CCP would go off on its own, but sell off the EVE franchise, or that these were all potential options. Of course, nothing hugely official that gives us any clue on who they're talking to. And I saw somebody talking online in an article about Daybreak possibly snapping up EVE Online, but I could kind of see that more in Perfect World's pocket. Again, a company that is now involved in both free-to-play and buy-to-play, not somebody like Daybreak where the buy-to-play isn't going all that well. So I can kind of see that. I don't know if EVE and CCP are ever parting. I'm just floating it as an idea.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't see EVE going to. I think I'd see EVE more likely to go with Daybreak than with Perfect World. It just seems like a better fit there, because Perfect World is like just all free-to-play. Has that taste of Chinese cash shop.
Perfect World is not all free to play. That was
not all.
There's
Live Lock, sure, I know, but I think
there's
Daybreak.
Live Lock. There's Torchlight. The Torchlight 2.
But talking about MMOs, really though, they seem like a more of a free to play thing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
and
it's
Daybreak has never screwed up a sandbox title before, right? Star Wars Galaxies. Excuse me.
I mean, as much as I agree with Jason that Daybreak would make a bit more sense just in terms of like just the company in general. I don't know. Perfect World seems to be acquiring a lot of things, so I mean, I don't know. It's possible. I just think it would be the beginning of the end for that game, either or, because I think the fan base would just be fed up with that, especially if it went to Perfect World. I think that would be really, really bad for the fan
I think they'd be
base.
fed up if it went to Daybreak too. Frankly,
Right.
That's
everybody's fed up
true,
with
but
Daybreak.
that's true. But I mean, I think it would be a little bit less of a backfire if it went to
Right.
Daybreak.
And the whole CCP thing, by the way, is to put it in context, it is speculation still at this point. It's very new in the middle of December. You know, Bloomberg reported, but their sources were anonymous people with knowledge of the matter type deal. So as far as CCP being sold or selling off some of its items, so we'll see. We'll see. I just wanted to float that out there, get your opinions on which company would make a better fit there. So, all right, how about some smaller predictions? We got to make it. It's right at the beginning of the year. Does WildStar see the end of 2017 as an active game anymore? Jason?
End of 2017. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say yes, but
So
only
on
barely.
December 31st, I'll still be able to log in and play WildStar.
Yes, Firefall on the other hand, not so much. But anyway,
Well, Firefall, you couldn't log in December
Until
31st of last year.
actually, it was back. It was back by the 31st. But yeah,
Zach?
I think that WildStar, unless they get acquired by Perfect World, will die out by the end of 2017.
so that's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on somebody maybe going after it.
It would make
That's
sense for Perfect World too. That seems
Yeah.
to be right in their domain, like that style of game and everything. So
I want to say I'm going to go with yes. I'm going to go with my gut tells me no. My heart is telling me vote yes. I don't think it'll be. How about this? I don't think it'll be NC Soft when I log in on December 31st of this year. Let's go with that. Yeah, I think it'll still be live, but I don't think it'll be there. Any other games teetering on the edge here that we? Well, I mean, Firefall. We have no idea what the hell is going on with that. Apparently, once again in December, there was a period of time you couldn't get on, you couldn't get to the site, and now it's back. The Twitter hasn't been updated since like May.
Yeah.
So who knows what's gonna? Maybe it's just time to call that one dead. And I'm sure Mark Kern is just gloating.
How about Landmark? You think that'll still be around a year from now?
No, that's a good question. I don't think so. I mean, as much as they added combat and other things to do in there besides just the initial build things for EverQuest Next push that it had at launch, I don't think it's enough, at least to me, it's not enough of a fully fledged immersive experience. I mean, you can find, if you want a MMO with combat, there's a bajillion that are better than this. If you want a builder game, there's now, unfortunately, because the product isn't going anywhere, there are now games that do this better. I'm going to go no. I don't think EQ Landmark makes the year out. What about you, Zach?
No, because the recent Steam reviews are No Man's Sky caliber.
Yeah.
Like they're just completely they're that harsh, and they killed that game when they canceled EverQuest Next because everyone knew that Landmark was building EverQuest Next, and when you no longer have that sort of transition, it doesn't make sense anymore. And no matter what they add to it, I don't think people want to look at that game because it just reminds them of the game that they could have had in the future.
Wow, you're right. 9% of the 33 user reviews are positive in the last 30 days are positive.
Yikes.
34% overall. I think that is less than No Man's Sky.
Jason, are you going with a negative on this one?
Yeah,
too?
I'm going to give that a no. Not going to be around.
Let us know in the comments below some of your predictions for 2017. Some games. Hold on one second. Some games that are gonna blow up. Some games that are gonna crash and burn and be gone. Games that we're not gonna see coming that are gonna be huge hits. Let us know what you guys have in store for 2017. Put it in the comments below so that Jason could pick through them next year, and you could be just as wrong as all of us. Go ahead, Zach.
As much as it pains me, because I met the team behind it and I really liked the game, Chronicle RuneScape Legends is not going to make it to the end of 2017. It's just not.
No.
There's like 2 people playing it on Steam, and maybe a little bit more if you count people not on Steam. But how many people aren't playing it on Steam? Because everything I hear of some of my friends who still play it, and when I've logged in to try and play it, there's just so little people that you get mismatched all the time. The ranked no longer makes sense because of that, because ranked players have to play against lower tier players. It's not looking good for that game at all.
I still want a new concept. Give me a new concept. A little while ago, we talked about horror-themed MMOs a couple months ago, and now two titles that were brought up in that conversation as having horror themes or elements to it, they have some updates. One's a good update, and the other one's a bad update. So, first off, let's start with the good. Hellgate London 2038. If you're not familiar with what's going on, take a look at the articles on mmobomb.com. Hellgate London, there is a passionate. I love fans of games. I mean, the people that are doing the stuff with the City of Heroes stuff, and I love seeing that type of stuff. Just we can't hear Jason, but it's the multi-host shot, so we can see him choking on something, but we can't hear him.
Gotta love that mute button.
Yep. So, passion projects, I love them. I love watching them. And there is a dedicated group of Hellgate London fans that are revitalizing and rebuilding some of the multiplayer aspects of that game. And they're going to open it up there. Hellgate London 2038 is what you're searching for when you go to mmobomb.com. But we got an update from that team that said, oh, by the way, this is going to be free, guys. We're not going to be taking money. This is a project of passion, and this is never going to cost money. And this is straight from their multiplayer team. This is kind of big because Hellgate, one of the things people really loved about it was their multiplayer. This is a condensed version of just the multiplayer, and boom, free, don't worry, we're dedicated to this. Now, like all passion projects, Zach, how far off the ground does it get? I mean, they've shown quite a bit in videos and things like that, just like the City of Heroes people that are revitalizing some of that gameplay. But how far and how long until we see this? Will we see it? What are your impressions of what you're seeing from the dev team so far?
I've only scratched the surface on the dev team themselves, but I don't see it getting off the ground for at least a couple more years because they seem like they're still somewhat in the early stages of it. But it's really cool to hear that they just are completely passionate about it, that they're not going to charge money for it. Because Hellgate, it's a good game. It's just one of the issues that caused me to quit it was the fact that its inventory management was horrendous. But everything
Jason's
else
out.
about
Jason checked out.
everything else about it was really fun. It kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of the sort of dungeon crawly type shooters that we have today, in the sense that you go through levels, you get a lot of loots, and then you go through even more levels. And it was within a horror theme, which made it very unique. And so if it eventually gets off the ground, I'll check it out again. I don't mind. I like my time in Hellgate, and I'll see what they changed and if it changed for the better or if it just sort of stayed the same, and support their projects. So
Jason, I think this one's coming. I don't think this is as far off as like a City of Titans or any of those. There's like multiple reboots of City of Heroes going on in labor of love type projects right now. And it's hard to keep up with all of them. And they're so far off in a lot of respects. I don't think this one is. I think we're going to see this pretty sooner than we probably think.
I lean more towards Zach saying it's a little farther down the road just because... Like you said earlier, I love seeing passion projects, and my opinion is I like seeing passion projects finish, because they can talk about how passionate they are and how much they love it and show off trailers and screenshots. Until there's an actual game, though, they ain't done shit. So I'm a little less optimistic than you about how quickly it's going to come.
I'm optimistic. So Hellgate London team, you have my backing. These other two jokers.
And I just want to say, too, I also played it back in the day.
Hated their inventory, didn't you?
I didn't notice the inventory. It didn't bother. I don't know. That's why I was like, really? Was that bad inventory?
Dude, I seemed like I was playing that game every 30 minutes. I had to go back and vendor because it just seemed like everything was filled up.
So Elder Scrolls Online is like every 15. So I mean,
well, that's just why you sub. I mean,
on the bad side of that same topic, our friends over at the horror MOBA Dead Breed, that game is shutting down January 31st. And as much as I'd like to say, I'm not surprised by this one at all. Had some interesting quirks, but played it enough to check out first look potential, and we already had a video, so I'm not surprised. And are either of you, honestly?
No, I remember talking about this first, talking about it with Spunkify like
Yeah,
3 years
back
ago.
when.
Way years ago, and when I was writing the article to announce the shutdown, I searched on our site. There was like the original announcement, and then we had some other article on it like early last year, and that was it. And it's just like I just never heard anything about it. So
Yep.
I can understand why it's shutting down. It just did not have any kind of presence at all, really.
And this is just kind of an additional thing in case you didn't know here, and sticking with a horror type or a gothic type theme. Diablo's 20th anniversary has hit, and there's bonus stuff to be had across the board. So obviously in WoW and things like that. But on the free-to-play side, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, there's all kinds of different events to celebrate the anniversary. If you haven't checked it out or you're not aware of it, check out the article on mmobomb.com. It's got a list of what you can expect in all the free-to-play games to celebrate that.
I did get to the cow level. I just played and got to the cow level.
Before we jump into the bombs, I want to talk about our most anticipated and why certain games were on the list, because we had some concerns. We debated this stuff back and forth. Check it out if you haven't. It's on YouTube in video format, also on the website where you can watch the video and read Jason's additional, more detailed commentary in the article form. We put out our top 17 most anticipated MMO, or free-to-play titles, I should say, because they weren't exclusively MMOs. Free-to-play titles for 2017, and we had a little bit of a qualifier on it. You know, if it was something could be in a closed beta right now, but we're expecting a launch in 2017, or maybe you haven't even had access to it at all yet, but we're expecting some level of access in 2017. So we were a little generous on the definition of 2017. But one of the factors we did take into this was not only hype for the general game, but also time. We gave a little bit of extra bonus points to maybe bump up the list a little bit. Titles that we anticipate seeing in some level of wide availability early in the year versus later in the year. But surprisingly,
and then versus like later, like 2018 and beyond. That was like the third level of.
Right. And surprisingly, though, that really didn't change the top spots as much as I thought it would, but it really shook up the middle to the bottom of the list. So I'm going to leave the list for you guys to watch. Let's talk about the top couple, because some people obviously disagreed there. We put at number 1, spoiler alert, Revelation Online. Obviously a ton of hype, whether you like the game, don't like the game, your beta impressions. There's a lot of buzz about the game, positive and negative. And the release is right around the corner. I think on those criterias, it's hard to argue with that being in the number 1 spot, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get a lot of people logging in to check it out and spending money on it no matter what. If it is really terrible and people all quit after 3 months, that's something. But otherwise, it's I don't know if I'd say necessarily it's on a level of like what Blade and Soul was around this time last year, but it's probably about as close as there is in terms of both the hype and how immediate it's going to be.
Zach, at number 2, we put Gwent. And initially I argued against this, but after we looked at the stats, damn, I didn't have any choice but to say, hey, you guys are right. It should go at number 2.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's a very popular, very anticipated thing, and it's CD Projekt Red, so it's obviously going to stir buzz around the entire media space when it launches officially, and it's going to get a lot of people into it. How long it will last in terms of being very popular, who knows? But I think it's going to probably remain pretty popular throughout the entire year at least. So.
And I'm just going to stick with you, Zach, here, because number 3 following it up was Bless. And in the video, I did mention that, our own Zach Sharps has had some hands-on time with this and seems a little concerned about the late transition of the combat system and other concerns as well. But we placed it at number 3, and I don't think I could put that any higher. I feel comfortable with it being at 3.
Yeah, I mean, combat-wise, it doesn't live up to Revelation because of the fact that it's more soft targeting, but they kind of just issued that in after the fact, where Revelation seemed to have been built around that. They do seem to really want to put some care into it, though. I've heard some articles saying that they are tweaking it to make it feel better. So that will be interesting to see how that translates into our launch. But I don't know. I'm still anticipating it. It just, like you said, I don't think I would put it higher up on the board. I mean, even if it was released in the same time around Revelation, just
Which it
because,
won't be.
which it
This
won't
is
be.
obviously a later 2017 title.
Yeah, maybe I might, push Gwent out of there possibly if it was right around the corner. But even then, I would still be like, I think Gwent is still a lot more anticipated and to a larger extent, and will last a lot longer as well. So.
Jason, number 4, and we're going to stop there. You're going to watch the rest on the videos or go through. I just want to kind of take you through our top selections and our thoughts on it and our rationale behind it. This one, if you don't know a lot about this title, this one's probably pretty surprising to you that we put Battle Right at number 4. Now, granted, some of that has to do with the fact that it's literally available right now if you want to spend a couple of bucks. And in Q1, it's going to be free to play. But damn, look at this game going gangbusters on Steam.
I know that, and I agree with you. I thought it was surprising too when I was like, let me see what numbers I'm going to assign to this and this and that. Okay, what's the hype level on this? And I'm like, wow, it's got 15,000 Steam reviews already, 91% positive. So it's like, okay, it's 1,500 recent in the last month. So it's still like gaining momentum. Still has people getting into it now. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is pretty darn popular after all. So yeah, I was kind of surprised. I didn't know that many people were into Bloodline Champions, basically. But apparently,
yeah, pretty much.
Apparently, a lot of people loved it, and they're really getting behind Battle Right. So yeah, and like almost universally praised. So,
and we're talking tons and tons of copies on Steam. I'm trying to look for the latest. I think it was in November it hit the 400,000 mark. Let me see if I have a more recent update on that. But yeah, it's one of those games you're like, that is really surprising that we put it that high, but I can't argue with it going lower. That would just be silly.
Yeah,
I can argue with it.
Okay, go ahead.
I can argue with it going higher if it was releasing sooner, but they delayed it, so it's like, well, you guys kind of dropped a few spots because of that. So I would put that above Bless Online easily. Just because I know Bless is going to be out in the future. I already know what to expect from Bless, and this game seems extremely popular, so it's definitely a lot more anticipated, I think, than Bless is.
So the most recent
500,000,
yeah, the most recent update I had on 12/26, so about a month old, was more than 440,000 copies of a free-to-play game have been sold in just 9 weeks. Approximately 227,000 new users played Battle Right through their first little free-to-play event, or one of their recent free-to-play events. So a little over 1.2 million matches played. Holy cow. And it's going free-to-play. It's just in early access right now, and if you want to jump in, it's $20. So check it out. Let us know what your anticipated titles are in the comments below. Let's slide over to the weekly bombs. That hurt my throat. Feeling a little under the weather.
Oh.
Yeah,
Drink some hot tea or whatever the heck it is. What do you have for
tea and honey?
Warm milk. That's it.
Yeah, we don't have that in Pennsylvania. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna pull out the rare meh bomb this week. I think I've done this once or twice in 200 plus episodes. This week it's going to Moonlight Blade, which is getting apparently a Western release. And after watching videos and because I didn't know dick about the title until I saw the news, I'm just gonna give it a meh. We'll see. Jason, you're up.
I'm gonna do something unprecedented, but not for long apparently. I'm gonna actually give a dub bomb to Daybreak.
What?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, because I remember back in February or March, whenever it was, when they split up H1Z1 into 2 titles.
Yep.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, they're going to get a lot of flack for that. They're charging for it. It's going to be lousy, but it might be a good idea actually. They seem like they really need to take development in 2 different directions.
Particularly for the PvP side, we thought this was a great idea.
Right. And it turns out it was a good idea because Steam did their top 100, greatest whatever it was, most income, most revenue games of 2016. And H1Z1 King of the Kill was right up near the top, was in the gold tier, which was the second tier. Games ranked 13th to 24th in terms of income. So, apparently they knew what they were doing. And I always see it whenever I go and look on Twitch. It's always pretty much always in the top 10 in terms of games being streamed, in terms of viewers and so on. So, that was probably the right decision, as much as a lot of people really didn't like it.
And as much as the PvE player base is sitting here going, what about us?
I just don't understand how people play it when it seems like they've not even fixed anything with it. Like every time I watch a stream, I see like 5 or 10 bugs pop up, and
They
own
made
the
things
game.
shinier. They've made things a little shinier and clarified a few things. But yeah, in terms of the bugs, it's still meh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zach.
I'm also gonna do something and help out Daybreak a little bit, but only their DC Universe Online segment because the rest
Daybreak
of them.
love from you two.
Well, I mean,
You guys
DC
being
Universe
sponsored?
Online,
What the
man.
hell?
I've been playing Lotro
No.
too lately, so yay Daybreak. Oh god, that doesn't seem right.
But yeah, I'm going to give a dub bomb to the DC Universe Online segment of Daybreak. Everything I've seen regarding their stat revamp on the forums, how that's progressing, what feedback they're taking, and how players are receiving it is positive. And they seem to be very receptive of everyone's thoughts and opinions towards the current state of things and how to fix it for the future. And people actually been very surprised on the forum saying, wow, I didn't think you guys would actually take this feedback and, turn it into something within the game. And so that just speaks volumes as to their DC Universe segment within Daybreak. And that's why I still give them money, because I still believe in that segment. And they really do what the players want. And I cannot wait to test it out once it's officially released. It's going to be amazing.
Wow. Lots of Daybreak love from you guys. From the viewers, Sailor Naruto 39, no judgment men at all, but Magic Man, how do you smoke yet have such a buttery smooth voice and relatively young appearance? Did you sacrifice your firstborn? Relatively young? Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate the compliment. I guess the answer to that is I'm not a heavy smoker. I've never been like a 2-3 pack a day, and there's been times that I've just randomly quit for 8 to 12 months and not smoked. And in all other respects, I take care of myself in a much different way. I'm not a huge drinker. I don't remember the last time I had a beer. Working out. I mean, Jason, you kind of did the same thing years. If you go back and look at old Game Breaker episodes with you on it or me on it, we were bigger guys, to put it gently, right? I mean, we were bigger guys, and
Not
just,
that much.
we weren't huge guys, but
Sure.
we had the extra here and all that stuff. So yeah, on all other aspects besides the smoking, Sailor Naruto, I'm pretty much a straight-laced, boring guy.
And he did sacrifice his firstborn. I remember. I was there for the ceremony.
Relatively young. You're relatively young. A-bomb to myself, because this is from Sailor Naruto, because I'm consistently mediocre at video games. I strive to be mediocre at most. I'm slow to learn them and quick to forget them, coupled with how much I hate meta and top-tier weapons, characters, and build. It's just a mess. Despite that, I still play them, because even if I'm meh at them, I still enjoy them. And Sailor Naruto, that's the point. If you're having fun,
Yeah,
the rest doesn't
absolutely.
matter. Go ahead, Zach.
Spy Guy says, A-bomb on all the people who are too afraid to say Merry Christmas because it might offend some special snowflake professional victim.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I like it.
Are we gonna go there?
I have split opinions about that whole thing. Like, I don't care if I'm at Walmart or whatever, and they tell me Merry Christmas. Thanks for thinking of me. Just for 2 seconds, even if it was in the back of your head. Thanks for wishing me merry or happy something. I don't care.
I don't get how people get offended by saying Happy Holidays or Merry Christmas, but maybe that's because I have more important things in my life going on. Who knows?
It really gets under some people's skin,
It does.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really sensitive issue sometimes. I don't get it. Go ahead, Jason.
Cartoon 80s 90s
Jason,
says,
did you have a Merry Christmas?
it was okay, I guess.
Or did you have a Happy Holiday?
I had Happy Kwanzaa. I don't know.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, do you start rattling off 17 holidays because they all fall? Christmas was the solstice anyway. Like, I was raised Christian. Never mind. I was raised Catholic.
Do I have to go Anderson Cooper on you?
They just picked the day. Okay, come on. Jesus was not born on that day. He wasn't. Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Cartoon 80s 90s says Happy Holidays.
What I'm seriously... No, I'm just kidding, Jason. Go ahead.
Cartoon 80s 90s says Happy Holidays. You should rework the weekly bomb section. Reading all these user comments is incredibly boring because most of them are too long and no one cares about them. Just give your bombs and move on to the next part. There, is that more entertaining for you?
So cartoon 80s and
funny
90s giving us I asked for feedback, like, what you want to change, have us change up the show. And so cartoon says rework the bombs in the comments because the viewers are incredibly long. A word on the comments here, by the way. I do give preference to the people that post on the website. Obviously, I mean, that's just kind of the right thing to do, right? That's why there's specific people like Elusive X Treasure. You probably hear her comments in 8 out of 10 episodes. But that's because Elusive X Treasure is on the site every week, watching, commenting, and, that's a MMO bomber right there. Boom. So, and YouTube, if they're longer, if they're making a good point, I like it. If you guys and gals don't like the longer comments that may be a little more in-depth, definitely give us that type of feedback. If we're not doing a show that you like, then we got to change it up. So, cartoon. Some people didn't agree with cartoon, though, and so let us know.
Or you guys could just write better comments.
Yeah,
entertain us better. Come on.
Or shorter comments, damn it. No, write whatever you want. Michael Louisel, A-bomb for ArcAge, trying to get back on for December 23rd, and the server goes down right when I log in. Here's a Christmas bah humbug to you, Tryon. Yeah, December was not kind to Tryon, and particularly ArcAge. Go ahead, Zach.
Sokapek says, Happy Holidays. Your talk show is one of the most honest and entertaining I watch online. Looking forward to a great new year full of content. A-bomb to the guy in the comments that doesn't like the weekly bombs. 2016 in free-to-play for me was Tree of Savior, Duelist, Paladins, Dota 2 as always, Guild Wars 2, some Robocraft, and quite a few clicker games, I confess. I'm not actually looking forward to anything in 2017, lol. Maybe they could fix some bugs in Tree of Savior, question mark?
Well, thank you for the compliment to lead off with. And now Sokapex and Cartoon 80s and 90s can duke it out in the comments section of this week's show.
Round one.
Round one. And hey, Tree of Savior, we posted an article this week, is getting some pretty substantial updates, so maybe it'll help out. On the bug side, I'm not so sure, but maybe on some systems, it'll make them for the better. Question of the week last week. Since we're off for the week of Christmas there into New Year's. We'll kick it off with a new episode now in the new year. Let us know what gaming goodies you gave and received this holiday season. Hellsworth says 2016, kind of doing a recap here. Warframe was the one that got my attention most of the time. 2017, it's Lineage Eternal, Lost Ark, Revelation Online, and a little something called only Mass Effect Andromeda. I hope to lose at least 3 months on that last one. Question of the week. I got some goodies from the Warframe store and sent some gifts to my friends as well. And a question for the MMO Bombs first cast in 2017. What free-to-play games should we be playing that will have the tendency to, in the long run, keep us hooked or basically serve as a steady time sink while we try other things that keep disappointing us? Happy Holidays, MMO Bomb. And honestly, I thought about this question a lot, and I don't know, maybe you guys will come with me on there. I don't have a title that fits that category for me yet. To me, all of 2017, at least what we know and what is likely to happen, they all seem to me like things I will bounce in and out of from time to time. I don't see one that just grabs me and sticks right now.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anything that I look at that looks like it's going to be this new wave kind of thing. It's going to be, some MMOs, some card games, some tank games or whatever. Going to be a little bit of everything. So probably not a whole lot different in terms of stuff for 2017.
Zach, you on that same train?
I think of all the games as sort of platforms in a sense. They get updated constantly with really, really good and ginormous updates. So, I mean, if you are bored, check out Paladins from periodically, Warframe. Shadowverse is a great card game. So
well, Hellsworth's already telling you he's all over Warframe.
There's 3 games for you to sort of dabble with. But then as far as 2017 goes, I mean, it's just like you guys said, you're just going to be sort of hop and ship, I think, because that just looks like what it's going to be.
Go ahead, Zach.
Elusive X Treasure says, for the question of the week, well, there was Ragnaros. If a little unofficially, but seriously, for the hubby, he had been in a strategy mood. So I got him Wasteland 2 and XCOM 2 for his PS4.
Nice.
Also, Rift was having a sale that's like kryptonite for me. So on top of the toy Needler, so awesome, and the ton of books from half priced books. I also got my son a bundle that included character slots, bag slots, earring slots, and all the souls he was missing except for the most recent 4.
Wow.
We also played together this morning, Christmas morning, and got his Durakar to level 35, which was the required level for him to make a new character. Happy, merry everything, guys.
Wow, sounds like it was a try on Christmas in the Treasure household. Mrs. Treasure. I don't know. In the Treasure household. Well, congratulations to you and the family. Those sound like awesome gifts and a good time on Christmas morning. Go ahead, Jason.
It reminds me of the time I interviewed Will Wheaton, and he said the best reason to have kids is so you can play games with them.
Will Wheaton.
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 Anyway, Penn Lion says, Happy Holidays. PR is probably the thing Area Games does the worst job at. Happy Holidays. This company sucks. All right. Happy Holidays to you, buddy. Despite their large portfolio of games, you almost never hear anything about them. Maybe the PR person was out of the office that day. Game I enjoyed the most was Aura Kingdom, although I have actually been playing Twin Saga. May give Bless a try, and I'm looking forward to La Place.
That's the biggest concern with Bless on the West here is
La
area
Place,
games.
or La Place, because La Place sounds like a stripper game or something.
Cerulai says, new game of the year, Black Desert. Game I played most this year was Final Fantasy XIV, and the game I'm looking forward to the most is Bless Online. Finish it up, Zach.
James Esparza said, this year I gave a friend of mine a bonsai tree and a copy of GTA 5 while we were at
That's an
work.
eclectic little group of gifts, isn't it? That's awesome.
While we were at work, he was in a bad mood, but ended up taking care of some plants, cutting their leaves, and things of that nature, and it set him in a good mood, and he really loved it, so I thought he would enjoy a bonsai tree. For his GTA 5 gifts, well, a couple weeks back, I noticed my little brother had a lot of rated M games, Borderlands, 4 Call of Duty games, and a copy of GTA 5. I seen my little brother watch war movies and things of that nature, so I let him have his Borderlands and COD games, but there was no way in High Rock I was going to let him, give him a GTA game at this young age.
I think let him play a GTA game.
Oh, let him play. Yeah, let him play a GTA game at his age. So I had a copy of GTA 5 in my room for 2 months and gifted it to a friend because I'm all about that MMO life and don't own an Xbox, so I was not going to use it.
So that's a great story. I mean, it really is. And you're like probably one of the best big brothers in the world, but your brother hates you.
Oh, yeah.
Your little brother hates you for what you did, but damn, that's really cool. Like, I often tell stories on the show about things I won't let my kids play and their ages and stuff, and I just like seeing that. That's awesome. Question of the week.
Bonsai tree.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet. Although it'd be like, what if you looked over and he was just dicing the shit out of these plants because he was so mad at work and you bought him another one?
Then I go play GTA and shoot people.
Right.
Yeah.
Question of the week this week. Some of you answered it last week. Okay, but that's fine. What is your most anticipated free-to-play game? Not just MMORPG, but we put out a list of 17. Is it on there, or is it something that totally missed our radar? What is your most anticipated free-to-play game, and why, of 2017? While you're down there writing your comments, make sure you put your weekly bombs, the bomb for something good, a bomb for something bad, or any questions for the panel here. Until next week, Zach, where can everybody find you?
Everyone can find me on Twitter at Zach Sharps, and yeah. Simple.
There you go. Simple enough. Mr. Winter.
Find me on Twitter at WinterWithFormal, streaming over twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
I'm Mike Byrne, aka Magic Man. You can follow me personally on Twitter at MagicMan1, MAGICKMANN1. And while you're there, also follow MMO Bomb at MMO Bomb, where you can come and get all the latest news, articles, first looks, most anticipated, giveaways, and all kinds of fun stuff. Until next week, gang, Happy New Year, stay safe, we'll see you on the servers.
Thank you.